students. I hope you're doing well. This lecture is going to cover your midterm oral presentation. It's hard to believe that we are through the middle of your semester, but here we are. And for your midterm presentation, you are going to be talking about growth mindset. We've talked about growth mindset throughout this semester, but if you need to revisit what this means, I have the YouTube linked in this handout, and the handout is going to be located just above this lecture. After you've revisited this video, I want you to consider the following questions. What does growth mindset mean to you? Is this a new concept for you, or is it something that you've heard of before? How does this make you see your educational experience in a different light? Then I want you to choose an assignment or a concept from this class. And I want you to examine where you are in terms of applying growth mindset. Is this something you need to work on? Are you able to step back and apply the idea of not yet? An example of this is, let's say that you choose the concept of in-text citations. And maybe for you, this is still something you're struggling with and you're frustrated about it. Then you could use that as your example and talk about how you really struggle to keep a growth mindset and that you have to remind yourself to stay in the idea of not yet and to not take your grades as a personal failure. And then I want you to think of what are some ways that you can challenge yourself to commit to a greater level of growth mindset as we progress towards the end of the semester. Maybe for you, this looks like looking at your grades at the end of a paper and writing down, I have not mastered a thesis yet. I have not mastered paragraph formation yet, but I will by the time this semester ends. Again, just practicing some of those growth mindset concepts. And then finally, and this question is optional, but I welcome you to share it in your presentation. Has growth mindset affected other areas of your life? Has this concept or this principle been something that you've been able to apply elsewhere? I've had students in the past who have shared how they apply it to other classes. I've had them talk about how they've applied it to their job or their relationships. This is something I'd love to hear from you about, but again, it's a completely optional portion of the presentation. The first three questions that I've listed here are concepts that you have to cover. So please be sure that you have this portion in your presentation. Please create a narrated PowerPoint to present these ideas. Keep in mind, you must have Office tools downloaded to your computer. This is why I really stress this at the beginning of the semester. Using the online version does not typically allow recording. Your presentation needs to be a minimum of 3 slides. You can have as many as you want, but it needs to be a minimum of 3 to answer these 3 questions in full. Your recorded presentation needs to be 3 to 4 minutes long. And then after you record the presentation, you will need to upload this to YouTube. Please ensure that you mark the YouTube link as public, okay? It needs to be where everyone can see it. After I've submitted the grades, you're welcome to mark it private at that point in time. And then finally, there's a couple different options when you're recording yourself through PowerPoint. You do not have to video yourself in the PowerPoint. You are allowed to have your camera off if that makes you more comfortable. However, you must record your voice. That is something that I expect. However, I know not everyone is comfortable being videoed. If you'd like to be videoed and you think that adds a personal touch, you're welcome to do that. And then if you've never done a narrated PowerPoint before, I've given you a couple links. One is how to create a narrated PowerPoint off YouTube, and the other one is how to upload a narrated PowerPoint to YouTube. And once you've completed those 2 factors, all you're going to have to do is submit the link. Please, please keep in mind, there are a lot of technological factors built into this midterm presentation. Do not wait until the last minute. If you send me an email the night before it's due and you realize that your microphone on your computer is not working, or you don't know how to work the technology, that is not going to be an excuse for submitting this assignment late. This is why I'm giving it to you a couple weeks in advance of the due date, is so that you can ensure you know how to use these tools. I can't wait to hear how you are practicing growth mindset. If you have any questions about this, don't hesitate to reach out. And again, this will be attached in two places, one in your weekly folder, and then again in the handouts that are located on your left toolbar. Have a wonderful day. And again, reach out with any questions.